Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Eric the Old Jarhead here. So I wanted to talk about my little chainsaw that I did a review on, about a year and a half ago. And it's the ECHO DCS5000. Now this video is not actually about this chainsaw, but I want to talk about it a little bit first. So this little guy, 56 volt battery powered chainsaw, I bought it in April of 22. And I did a review on it later in April, and then I think that went out in around August of 22 maybe. One of my top videos today, doing pretty well. And a lot of folks, I think, have bought these chainsaws because of that video, so that's awesome. And by the way, I don't get a kickback from it. I'm not sponsored by ECHO or anything like that. I just like this chainsaw and I thought I would tell you about it. So anyway, ECHO DCS5000. Now, battery powered chainsaws are one of those things that I often wonder about. Are they really going to work very well? Out here in the cold, batteries lose their ability to provide a charge as it gets colder and colder and colder. Well, it was in the 20s overnight. It's been in the 20s overnight this whole weekend we've been out here. And I left this out for the first time with the battery in it, as well as the next item I'm going to talk about. And you know what? It's working fine. Full charge, working fine. I can go out and cut wood with it. It's doing really well. So I have to admit, I'm a little impressed with that because LifePo batteries don't do very well. They won't even provide a charge at, I think it's 0 degrees Fahrenheit, and at 20 degrees, they won't take a charge anymore. Well, it was in the 20s last night, but I guess it's still functioning pretty well. So I will tell you that after more than a year and a half, almost 2 years of having this saw, I'm super impressed with it. And my buddy Lance was here, and he was looking at buying an electric chainsaw. And I told him, honestly, I've used a few different kinds. I've done a lot of research on it. I still stand by this ECHO DCS5000. I think it's a fantastic saw. I could tell you a few things about it that I did in my original review, so I'll drop a link down below. There's a couple things that I think could be better, but all in all, I'm telling you, I think this is the best bang for your buck out there today. So there you have it, but that's not what this video is about. So hold on a second. This, folks, is the ECHO, and I got to look at it because the name isn't really intuitive. It's not like DCS and it rolls off your tongue. This is a DPB. DPB? Who comes out with DPB? DCS is easy to say. DPB is not. But this is a DPB2500 ECHO leaf blower, 56 volts, left overnight in 20-degree weather, working fine. Same battery. So I bought this little guy, and I intended to do an unboxing for you about it and talk about it and why I bought it. But the weekend that I finally got it in, because I ordered it, I had to go milling. And so I brought it along to blow the sawdust off of the slabs I was milling so I could look at them. And I was really impressed. It's got a turbo feature on top, so if you push the trigger, you can hear that kick up. So I was pretty impressed. I mean, it really blew the sawdust off all that wood, and it helps clean the mill off, and it works good. And you've probably seen me using it in some of my videos. But you might ask, okay, one, why did you get it? And two, does it actually blow leaves around? I mean, is it worth buying? First of all, it's the same battery. It's the exact same battery that is in my chainsaw. And I happen to have two of them, and they're expensive. They're 200 bucks a battery, at least when I bought them. And I bought two, which I didn't really need with the chainsaw. I didn't know it at the time, but I tell people today, buy one, charge it up. I mean, unless you're out in the woods all day long using the saw, okay, get two and charge one while you're using the other one. But I mean, honestly, they last long enough for probably 90% or better of the people that are going to buy one of these to have one. But I got two. So why not get the leaf blower to go with it? I got the battery already. The leaf blower was pretty inexpensive because the battery was already 200 bucks. I already had it. I think the leaf blower was 150, 200 bucks or something like that. I'll drop it down in the description below. Maybe drop a link to Amazon or something so you could check them out. And I bought just the leaf blower. So you go to Home Depot or something, it comes with a battery and a charger and all those things. I didn't need that. I just needed the blower itself, just the head. Now this one is supposed to be able to put out some astronomical amount of air, and it really does. But what I found was that when I actually decided to use it for leaf blowing, I was super impressed. And I was using it a lot without having to charge the battery up. I was really impressed. And I think they say on turbo, the battery only lasts like 30 minutes. And I think they call it turbo. Yeah, they call it turbo. So the battery only lasts like, I think 30 minutes or something like that if you're just flat out on turbo the whole time. but you don't really need to. That's just an occasional kick. The leaves are wet or whatever, or there's sawdust or something. You want to get an extra kick in there. Otherwise, I was using it like all week to blow leaves around and do things around the house. And then finally, you know, it was down to 1 bar dying on me and I charged it up. So I will tell you, if you already have this guy and you got the battery for it and you're thinking about getting a leaf blower, I got to admit, that actually really works well. And I'll show you here some footage of me using it to blow off the sawmill and all that kind of stuff. Check it out real quick, folks. How about that, eh? I mean, it works really good. It's an awesome little deal. And my big thing was actually, I'll tell you a little secret. Husqvarna, we call them Husqvarna. They call themselves Husqvarna. Husqvarna actually was, we were talking about a year and a half ago or so when I put out the ECHO video that I did, because I compared it to Husqvarna 455 Rancher, which is like a 52cc saw. And I talked about the chain on my gas-powered saw was a bit dull, and I really thought it had more power. But at the time, this had the torque, and it really did well. It performed very, very well compared to that, you know, 52cc saw. Now later I did a comparison with a Ryobi 38cc gas-powered saw, and there were times when the Ryobi outshined the ECHO battery, but there were times when the ECHO did better than the Ryobi. A little more torque, I think, on these. But the 52cc saw, yeah, it's gonna beat this little saw for sure. If it's got a good solid chain on it, which I didn't. I was even missing a tooth or something. So it's unfair. But Husqvarna had come to me and they had said, well, would you be interested in doing a comparison between one of our battery saws and the ECHO? And I told them, absolutely. I also told them, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it in the winter. I'll do it in the summer, I'll do it in the spring, but I'm also gonna do it in the winter because I wanna know how well those batteries hold up in 20-degree weather out here in the woods. And in the end, we ended up not doing it. I think because, well, I know at the time they were having supply chain issues and they didn't actually have any of those saws at the time. And then one thing leads to another and it's the end of the year and whatever, and you know, they're changing directions. And I'm not really that big of a YouTube channel, so it's not like, you know, I've got 1 million subscribers and they're like, oh my God, we got to give this guy a saw, right? I'm just some dumb jarhead out in the woods and I don't wear yoga pants, so I'm dirty all the time. I don't know how those channels with the yoga pants on don't get dirty, so I'm just saying, folks. But anyway, enough of the yoga pants, but I haven't brought that up in a long time, have I? I mean, if you've watched my channel, you know I did a video a year and a half or two ago about yoga pants, and I'm sorry to those channels that have millions of viewers because they're walking around with a camera behind their women in yoga pants running a sawmill. I mean, maybe it's entertaining, but it's not real, folks. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you're that channel. You're not real. I'm filthy dirty right now from just milling 4 logs on my mill. Anyway, this ain't about that, so I'm gonna stop. I'm sorry. These are real, honest to God, tools worth having. If you're into Jeeps like I am, they're fantastic because you don't got to carry fuel. So put it in a case, put it in a bag, dump the oil out, whatever. They get dirty, that's because you're using them. So if you want to see a bright, shiny chainsaw, well, if you want to see bright, shiny orange, but it's got a few scuffed dirt things on it now, and it's going to. This, folks, dirty, it's filthy, it gets that way. It's a tool that I use in the woods where it's dirty and filthy, but the reason I'm doing this video is I wanted to do a follow-up. Now we're almost 2 years later, you know, 1 3/4 or whatever, and you know, you do these YouTube review videos, which I don't do a lot of those, but when I do, I want you to know whether I'm still using that tool a year or 2 down the road. As far as this leaf blower goes, I love it. I think it's fantastic. I highly recommend it. 2 thumbs up from the old jarhead. Folks, that's all I got for you today. I got to get out of here. We got to hit the road and it's still pretty slick, so we got work to do. So I'm going to drop a video right here for you to check out. Y'all have a great day. The old jarhead out. Okay, that's a wrap.